Today's short is being brought to you by Goya Foods. If it's Goya, it has to be good.
Your daily game plan for success. It's Sachs in the Morning. Steve Sachs.
Hi, Steve Sachs here with Sachs in the Morning. How was your weekend? Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. It is Monday. This week, of course, we're going to talk about being great. What's the difference between being good and great? Well, there's a lot of differences. So after doing lots of reading over the last week and reflecting on my own life and the people I've met, I want to share with you 7 things that help people achieve greatness. Now, some of these ideas came from leadership coach David Villa. Some came from Lewis Howes, who I'm going to stalk until he comes on my podcast. Love to have him on. He's a former athlete, and he wrote a book called The School of Greatness, and some are from my own experience. So here they are. Here's the 7. Number 1 is you've got to have a willingness to learn. That's number 1. When someone becomes unteachable, they become useless. All of us always have more that we can learn, no matter how good we are at our craft or our profession. Nothing will hinder your ability to become great more than this attitude of, I know, or that saying, I got this. Yeah, you don't have anything, all right? No, you don't have it. All right, number 2, find ways to motivate yourself. No one who has become great at something got there by someone pushing them the entire time. You have to be a self-starter. You have to be someone who wakes up every morning saying, let's go. That voice has to come from within. Now, there are many ways to cultivate that voice, whether it's visualizing that goal or putting small structures in your life to make that motivation more automatic. But the bottom line is, if you aren't able to motivate yourself, there is no amount of outside motivation that is going to make you great. People say, are you a motivational speaker? No, I'm not a motivational speaker at all. I try to inspire people. Maybe it's an inspirational speaker, but I can't motivate anybody. That's got to come from inside. That's from a deeper sense. That's a deeper source. No, you got to have that motivation come from you. Number 3, and maybe they're not in order because this might be the number 1, but I got it down at number 3. So these aren't in order. Okay. But this is probably the most important one as far as I'm looking at it, is passion. Now, this relates back to what we talked about a bit in number 2. It is nearly impossible to become great at something you really don't care about, or even if you are naturally gifted at something. But if you really don't care about it, you won't put in the hard work to become great. What's even more important is that other people will sense your lack of passion, and they won't want to invest their time to follow you or to help you. Okay, which brings us to number 4. Now, no one becomes great on their own, okay? We often have this false image of the singular genius who, by sheer force of will and talent, blaze their own trail of greatness. That's ridiculous. No one, I repeat, no one becomes great without some help along the way. Well, we all love stories of people overcoming challenges and obstacles, or being told no, or that they aren't good enough. Those stories always include people who supported them at certain points, or opened a door when no one else would. So don't be an island and take all the help you can get. Number 5, ignore the odds. How many times have I talked about this? Odds don't mean anything. Odds means that you are a study and you consider yourself average. That's how they get an odd, if you will. So it doesn't mean anything. Ignore the odds. Everyone who achieves greatness beats the odds to do so. If you're worried about your chances of success, then you are already giving yourself excuses for why you couldn't become great or weren't noticed or didn't succeed. The odds of greatness are never great. But that's mainly because so many people give up. And, incidentally, there's a guy that sent me this whole note. He was a mathematician. He says, hey, I did this story on the odds of you making it to the big leagues. It was 1 in 4,875,000 based on the population of the U.S. And then I did a study on world population on the odds of you winning the Rookie of the Year, which were 1 in 2.16 billion. And I just thought to myself, this was after I was retired. I thought to myself, you know what? This doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, it's flattering, but it means nothing. Why would I be a part of a study if I didn't consider myself average? You shouldn't consider yourself average. It's not a haughty or a egotistical thing. You got to consider yourself way above average. And I never wanted to be just an average. Do you want to tell an average joke? I never wanted to be average, and I never considered myself average in baseball. So this study meant nothing to me. And that's what I want you guys to do too, is whatever you're doing, whatever your passion is, don't listen to the odds. They don't mean a damn thing, all right? So let's get on to number 6. Find people who inspire you, who are already great, and that you can emulate. I love this one. This kind of goes back to the idea that no one becomes great on their own. Everyone who reaches their dreams had others to inspire them. There are people out there already who are amazing in a similar field or craft that you are in. So watch how they do it. Get inspired by their greatness and see how their success is proof that it is possible for you. And lastly, how will success help others? If your passion to succeed is directed towards a specifically selfish venture that only serves you, it's unlikely that you're ever going to get there. And if you do get there, it's almost a guarantee that it won't bring you joy or fulfillment. We are social creatures. We are hardwired to help each other and to connect with each other. There's a reason that all religions and spiritual practices talk about service to others as a path to joy. And remember, it's not like your goal needs to be purely altruistic, but at least think about it, how it will help those around you or make the world a better place. So take these 7 thoughts and think about how you can put them into practice on your own path to greatness. And you can do it. I know you can. And that's my short for today. If you like what you heard, give us a positive review, subscribe, and share. Also, remember that the Sax in the Morning swag is now available on my Instagram site. Go to saxinthemorning_podcast. You'll see it right there on the Instagram, and just hit the link. Everything's there, mugs, hats, tumblers, you name it. Take advantage of it. And thanks to Al Hendrickson Toyota for their support of this podcast. And be sure to visit alhendricksontoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.